Hi fatties, welcome back to my paradise. Today we're going to be cooking Oysters Rockefeller. So I do have my ingredients here. I have my panko breadcrumbs. This is about a cup of panko breadcrumbing. I have my spinach here. You can also get your spinach already pre-cooked in the frozen section at your local store. I have a lemon. I have about 2 tablespoons of unsalted butter. I have grated Parmesan cheese, 2 garlic cloves, and 2 shallots. And I have some green onions and parsley here. And I also have a dozen of cleaned and washed oysters. So we're gonna go ahead and get started with our sauce for our oysters. So I have 2 garlic cloves here. So usually you have like this little film around it. You want to get that off of your garlic. What you typically do is just press down on your garlic like this with your knife, and you remove that. And you do the same with this one as well. So we have our garlic, and you want to just take it and you want to do a rough chop on your garlic. You want to make sure that you keep your fingers clear of being cut. You can also do like this as well. Just kind of like a seesaw back and forth. This garlic smells so good. Alright, so if you see any little brown pieces, just take them out. So what we're gonna do is just make sure that it's chopped up pretty good. Alright, so that garlic is complete. We're gonna go ahead and just put that back over here. We're not ready for it yet. We do have some shallots here. And all of this is for our ingredients for our sauce. Alright, so I have a shallot here. And these are pretty small. They do come bigger than this. These are the only ones that I could find at the time. So you cut it just like if you were gonna cut an onion. Slice it like that. And you want to kind of make these fine because it is in the onion family, and you just don't want it to be too oniony for your sauce. So you're just going to kind of do a light little dice. I know it's so tiny. So tiny. Alright. We're going to do the same with this one as well. Alright. And just try to get it as thin as possible. Alright, and see, one of those shallots may be good enough. So we're not going to use both of our shallots. We're going to just use one of them. Oops. Which would be enough onion flavor. And if you're not too sure about using a knife, you can also use your food processor and it'll get chopped up the same way. Just don't post it too much because you don't want it to be mushy. You just want it to be like a fine little chop. Alright, so our shallots are complete. Alright, shallots are done. So what we're going to start off by making our sauce is the garlic and the shallots. And we're going to take our spinach and our butter over to the eye so we can go ahead and get it going, okay? All right, so we're over here by our burner. We're going to go ahead and get this started. We want to make sure that we have this on low heat because you don't want to burn your garlic and your shallots that we had got chopped up, okay? So what I'm going to do is start with a little bit of olive oil. You can use any olive oil of your choice. I have this one because it has a light taste. So I'm going to use probably about a tablespoon of olive oil. And we're going to use our 2 tablespoons of unsalted butter. And we're going to go ahead and let that get melted down. And once we get all of this melted down, we're going to go ahead and add in our shallots and our garlic. Alright, so we're gonna go ahead and add in the shallots that we cut up, that we diced up, and the garlic. We're gonna use both of those garlic cloves. So what we're gonna do is just saute these. We're gonna get them translucent. They're gonna be clear in color. We just really want to get them soft. You don't want to get them brown. You don't want them to change any color. We just want them very tender and soft. You just move it around. And you'll start to smell the garlic and the shallots. Alright, so we're going to give that just a minute or so. I'm going to go ahead and add in a little bit of a seafood blend seasoning that I use. You can find some at your local store, or you can just make your own. It's up to you. And we're going to mix that around. So now what I'm going to do is go ahead and add in my uncooked spinach. Now mind you, this spinach is going to wilt down a lot. It's going to wilt down a lot. So we're going to have it cooked all the way down, because we're going to make this is going to be used for our sauce, and we're going to add some more stuff in here as well. It smells so good right now. Alrighty. Okay, I'm just going to add a little bit of extra dry liquor to this. Also, I'm going to add a little bit of white wine as well. And we're going to have that start cooking down. And we're going to also add in some heavy cream. So this is heavy whipping cream. This is mostly used for sauces that are white sauces, like Alfredo. Any sauce that you see that is white, basically this is the base of it, is heavy cream. So we're going to have this cook down and thicken up and give it some time to do its thing. And you want to have it on low because you don't want your cream to burn. And I'm going to add in some seasonings as well. I'm going to add in some garlic powder. I'm going to add in a little bit of smoked paprika. I'm going to add a little bit of salt in. Tap it. And some black pepper. So I'm going to turn this down a tad bit. And basically what I'm trying to do is get everything coagulated together, mixed together, thick and rich. So this will take about at least 5 to 7 minutes. And we're gonna go ahead and just let this cook down and reduce down, and we'll be right back. So we're back. It has been about 5 minutes or so. Just when you're doing your cream mix, your sauce mix, make sure that you keep stirring it and use a non-stick pan so that your sauce does not stick to your pan, okay? And this is how your sauce should look, nice and thick. So we're gonna turn off the eye now. And we're gonna get back over to our oysters, and we're gonna get them all ready and prepared for the grill. We're back. So now that our sauce is done, this is our completed sauce. We're gonna go ahead and add in that Parmesan cheese that we had earlier. We're gonna add in just a little bit of that. What you're gonna do is just fold it into your sauce. Fold it into your sauce. All right. So now you should go ahead and set your oven or your grill so it can get up to 200 degrees. And I'm gonna go ahead and start filling our oysters. All right, so let's go ahead. You can just find a spoon of your choice. You only want to put a little bit of filling inside of your oysters. So just lightly fill them up until you have them all filled. And if you have a bigger oyster, then of course put more filling so that it is covered, because you do want your oyster to be kind of covered. And the reason I have the paper towel up underneath here is because when I washed them off, I was draining them as well. Alright. You don't want to put too much spinach on each one. Just want to put a little dollop on each one. See all that cheese? Okay. Move it around. It looks like I made just enough. So if you have more than a dozen of oysters, you just want to make sure that you make enough mix that's going to cover all of your oysters. I'll be right back. Very nicely. Okay. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little bit more of that Parmesan cheese on top. So we're going to add some more of that Parmesan cheese. I think Parmesan cheese is the best cheese to go with seafood. So don't try to use cheddar or anything like that. Just get some Parmesan cheese. That's the best choice. And now, remember that panko breadcrumbing that we had? That Japanese panko breadcrumbing? We're going to go ahead and just sprinkle some right on top of there. Right on top. And this is going to give it that crispiness to it. I promise, if you make this for a family member or for someone special, they're going to be like, how did you learn this? Right, so now my grill is ready to go. I'm going to go ahead and put my oysters on the grill. If you are cooking yours in the oven, just use a sheet pan or some type of pan. Put them directly on there. And just stick it in the oven, okay, for 8 minutes. Go ahead and place mine on there. And these aren't going to take long to cook. It is going to be a little messy because it will run over, because of all of the sauce and the cheese and all of the goodness. So it's a little hot back there. I'm going to go ahead and Use my tongs. Okay, so now that I have all my oysters on here, I'm going to go ahead and allow it to cook for about 8 minutes, and then we'll be back to check on it and see how it's doing. Alright, so this is what we're looking for, that brown crispiness. And also you want the panko breadcrumbing to be brown. So some of these are going to stay on here a little bit longer, but like this one I'm going to go ahead and take off. And there's a few that I already took off because they're getting really crispy. So you have different oyster sizes. You want to just take them off depending on what size of your oyster. Some are bigger, some are smaller. And just watch them and see how they do. Alright, so we'll be back. Alright, so our oysters are complete. They're still very, very hot. And what we're going to do now is garnish them. And what I have here are some green onions and some parsley and some lemon juice. I'm just gonna rough chop some green onions. Alright, and then we're gonna chop up some parsley. Mix that together. And I do have a lemon here. I'm going to just use some lemon for some garnish as well on the plate. So I'm going to go ahead and drizzle over some fresh lemon. And remember, you can give these time to rest. These are very, very hot. Very hot. Plate these. And you serve them just like that, right in the shell. Very easy cleanup. It looks really good. Alright, we're going to probably try to put a little more on there. Okay. And garnish with the green onion and parsley. Okay, this is our finished dish, Rockefeller oyster. Make sure you like, share, subscribe to get more recipes. And if you have any ideas, you can write them in the comment below. Thanks for watching.